Good morning, welcome back to the show. We're out at Premier Farm and Home and we're joined by Chad. It's good to see you.
Hey Brian, how you doing?
Okay, we've got two types of fall grass people. We've got people who are going to overseed.
Right.
I'm one of those.
I'm one of those.
There you go. And we've got people who have maintained a healthy yard, maybe have got good shade and kept their yard watered.
I got one of those too here.
I know. The plots
good,
are
so
awesome.
I've got one of those yards too. Yeah.
And so let's talk about the people who are in pretty good shape and managing that turf getting into winter and coming into spring.
Okay, well, in the fall time frame, what we're looking for is a good dose of nitrogen to the yard. So nitrogen is the first number. When you look at that fertilizer bag, there'll be 3 numbers there. That first number is nitrogen. Now, as you look at that bag, you may think, oh, well, whatever that number is, that's what I need, the first one. But when you look at those bags, also consider things like whether or not it's coated, whether or not it has any of the other 2 in it, and what ratios those might be. And just kind of make sure you're reading the labels so that you understand completely what the product is.
What about time release? I mean, the way the summer's been, we could have a wet fall.
Right.
And having lots of rain, is that going to vary on what we should put down?
Right. There's several different types of slow releases that they'll use. The most common one is they'll have something called SCU, which is sulfur-coated urea. And what they do is they take an oxidized coating of sulfur and put it around a urea particle. And then when it gets chipped or the microbes eat that sulfur, then it releases it. So you have this delay as far as when it comes out. Now the next step to that is they'll take a polymer coat and put it over it, then coat it with sulfur, and we call that polymer coated sulfur-coated urea. That's the next step up in quality as far as that goes, and gives you even an extended period of time. So when you look at these coatings, just remember that the whole thing's not going to be coated. It's just going to be a portion of it's coated. So you will still have that quick green or that quick result, but then there'll also be another half that's there later to help you out.
And what number should we be looking for?
Really on the bag, somewhere in that 30s time frame, is what we're looking to, like a 3238 or a 3200, 3000, something like that. It's kind of where we're the right amount of nitrogen compared to the other one. Should be at least 3 to 1 to the other stuff. I don't mind it if they have potassium in there. That's also helps you with stress and water movement, which could be important when we're trying to store food here. But just make sure that you have more nitrogen than the rest of the numbers when you go into fall.
Now, should we kill crabgrass if we've got it around? Do we want to fertilize crabgrass this time of the year, or?
Yes, it's fine too, because it's going to die when it frosts. So as we get later into the fall, we're going to wave that crabgrass goodbye, whether you spray it or not. If you're impatient like me or Brian, we know Brian's impatient, you can go right ahead and touch it up right now with some post-emergent type crabgrass herbicides.
People maybe have a mixture of grasses, some shade, some sun type. Right. What about rate of putting it down? Should we be worried about that, or we just cover it same rate?
As long as they're under cool season, for what you lose in shade type grasses, if you have like a creeping red fescue, that sort of stuff, don't worry, the tree takes up the rest of it, because when you're in there fertilizing both trees and turf, your requirements for fertility are higher because you have that huge tree there that's also taking nutrients. So they pretty well balance out as long as we're talking about cool season grasses.
Perfect. Want to remind you, heycow.com, if you have any need to want to get a hold of Chad, or if you want to see replay of this episode or any that we've done in the last 3.5 years, you can see them on heycow.com, or you can see them on ExportAGam in Kansas. And Chad, it's good to see you.